Hello, Tutal here, coming to to bring you a new video series of a game called Xenonauts. Now, Xenonauts is an old retelling of pretty much the old original XCOM style type of games. And at the time when this came out, which was 2014, I believe, it was really good. And now they're working on Xenonauts 2, which I am still giving some time before I actually play it. However, I am playing a mod on Xenonauts that is, for effective purposes, a Xenonauts 2. This is called X Division, and it flips the game on its head, like, ridiculously. It takes the base game, which used to have, I think, 30 research, maybe 40 research things, and 24 weapons that you can use, and 4 aircraft that you can use. This thing adds in 990 research, 136 weapons, and 8 to 9 aircraft you can use. A lot. It adds in a shit ton. Also adds in a shit ton more aliens. Makes the game longer. And takes the difficulty and ramps it up to 12. Not 11, 12. It's pretty much the veteran difficulty on base game. And they changed a lot. Now we're going to play on this one, new game here, because this is technically easy, but this is pretty much veteran mode. And I will have Iron Man off. However, I will do as here an Honest Man playthrough, because this is, at the end of the day, a mod. Alrighty. We're going to select our base location. Now, our first location is we want to get as much coverage as possible. Now, the United States and Soviet Union give us the most amount of money, which is explained in the Xenopedia and the lore-wise, which I will get to at some point. We want to try and cover as much as possible. And the best place I have found to do that is here in the Middle East. Because this covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 regions. And as long as you hold 6 regions, you're good. Because you can lose 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 regions we can lose right there. You'll be fine. Doing this will at least have some, not 100%, but some influence. Now, base game, you only start off with like $3 million. This game we start off with $8 million. That's because we're going to need to build more bases right away. Like, we are going to have to expand quickly. So let's put this right here. Middle East, we will call this CENTCOM for Central Command. To Central Command. And thus the game starts. Anytime you're on the geoscape screen, which is this map here, time moves. And as you can see, we take it in 1979 because we're in the middle of the Cold War. Here we have our base management screen, which we can build and add on new things. And I'm going to do that pretty much right away. I'm going to add new stuff. First off, another living quarters. We're going to need it. Now, base game, you can kind of get away with not using laboratories. What are you doing? Weird dog. You can just using waiting on to build laboratories and workshops until like a month or 2 in advance or later. Yeah, no, this game with this mod, you want to build this stuff right away because you get a lot of technology, and you are constantly using your workshops. So we're gonna get 2 right off the bat. That will increase it by another 20, which is 5 increase from the base game. We're going to improve our radar range to the maximum, which is 3. 3 radar ranges is the most you can do, as you saw from the 3 range circles if you paid attention. If not, I don't blame you. Up next, we're going to add a garage because we need vehicles. Like, we need vehicles. Very important. And then up next, we're going to add a missile battery. This will help protect the base from incoming attacks. And then a medical center. Very, very important. As well as another hangar. This right here, these hangars are going to be changed into something else, or I say changed into something else. This one's definitely going to go away at some point, and we're going to use these 4 hangars. However, the planes that are in these 4 hangars, like this one, so this one's never going to be used, I'll tell you that much right now, are not going to remain here. They are actually going to eventually be placed into dedicated air bases. and that's what we're going to have to do. Whereas base game, you can get away with having a multi-role base, or like a mix between, like, you know, army, like ground forces, and like helicopter transport ships and your fighters. This game, with the amount of shit the aliens throw at you with UFOs, you need dedicated air bases, because you are going to be fighting a lot in the sky. Surprise, surprise, an alien invasion, you end up fighting a lot in the sky. Here's our research screen. We have a shit ton of research we can do, but right now we only have one, the alien invasion, led by this fine gentleman who looks like, well, he needs a haircut. So here, our first research, alien invasion. We are being attacked commander. We are currently undergoing we're currently going over intel reports on what has occurred, and should have a better picture of the situation for you shortly. Hopefully. Probably after our first mission. That's almost always. Over here we have our workshop, where we can build and produce, and in this game, in this mod, deconstruct, which we'll get to later. Little stores screen, this poor guy. Yeah, we're gonna need to make sure he maintains a pack of fucking cigarettes. Our barracks screen, where we have the troops at this specific base, CENTCOM. Here we have our starting group, which are all corporals and a sergeant instead of privates. These guys are great. Ooh! Other than your reflexes and bravery, you're not too bad. Ooh, you were pretty good too. Alright, we got some pretty good recruits coming in. I'll say that much. So we have our high soldiers, we have our casualty list here. This is going to grow exponentially. We can show specific types of soldiers, like ready, available, and such. We can transfer soldiers from base to base, and we can dismiss soldiers. I don't think I'll ever dismiss, because I need bodies. Over here is my favorite part of this game. So you have roles here, like you got your rifleman, your assault, your sniper, your heavy weapons, your scout, shield, rocket, specialist, and you can add a role. You see, here's the thing about this game. Unlike other games for, like, say, XCOM Enemy Unknown, your assaults are restricted to a shotgun and a rifle, or like your riflemen are restricted to a rifle. Well, here, let's say I want to take the rifleman, but I also want him to carry a rocket launcher. Bada boom. Let's say I want my assault to carry both a shotgun and a rifle. Bada boom. Let's say I want my heavy weapons to have a machine gun, but also a pistol just in case. Or fuck it, a sniper rifle. Boom, you can do that. Let's say I want my sniper to carry a C4 charge. Boom. Shields don't fit in here, unfortunately. Way back then they used to, but they won't. And I will not use shields until I get a specific armor, and there's a reason for that, because when aliens see you using a shield, they love to throw their grenades. And the alien grenades are very, 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 very good. Okay, so as you see, we can have rockets, and let's say, you know, on XCOM, like, you have to get special perks to carry rockets. Well, guess what? Look at that. I can have this guy carry rockets, and if I wanted to, I can have this guy run up to a rocketeer, so to speak, have him drop the rockets on the ground, and have the other guy pick it up and load it. So you can have people carrying extra ammo, which is pretty fucking cool. Here we have our vehicle screen. We have no vehicles built at this base, and that will change. And here we have our aircraft equipment screen. We have our Chinook here, which we have with our troops, and we can change the specific layout of the troops when we go into battle, which is pretty neat. I will be changing that in a bit. And our aircraft here, our interceptors. Forgive me if I yawn. Terribly sorry about that. I am quite exhausted, I might say. So, allow me to explain some changes from the base game here. First off, the aircraft are a little faster, but these things are also very fucking weak. Ridiculously weak. These guys will not stand up in a head-to-head fight against an alien spacecraft. A scout, maybe. They might survive long enough if I can dodge the missile to fly past it playing chicken. But it's not going to be a happy day for the aircraft. Not something we really want to do. Against an alien fighter, I can auto-resolve it for 100%, but every time I have played it, these guys get just 2-on-1. I get shot the fuck down. The only way I've been able to do it was a 3-on-1, and that's just because I was able to cheese a missile. I'm able to cheese a missile shot with the third one, because this game has changed the aircraft munitions heavily. You see, base game, this F-17 Condor used to have 2 light hardpoints for the Sidewinder missiles. This game, it only has 1. Now, that sounds like a massive fucking downgrade. Somewhat. The autocannon is still the same one, but I believe this thing has 50 more ammo, so it has a lot more ammo. But whereas this thing only has 1 hardpoint, it actually has 4 missiles, 4 Sidewinders. So you actually have twice as many as the base game. But the problem is you only shoot 1 at a time with a rate of 2 seconds. So it takes 2 seconds for the missile. You launch a missile, it takes 2 seconds for it to resync or to relock. And here we have our Expedia, which will explain more in depth of our equipment. And let's go for our aircraft. First off, our F-17. Our primary X-Division interceptor. The F-17 Condor is a plane I believe will have the best chance at both catching the alien aircraft and then blowing them from the sky. I keep saying aircraft. It's not an aircraft, it's just a craft. Now, me personally, I'm thinking we should have gone with something more F-15-like-ish. But F-16 is a good plane. I'm not going to dunk on it. This is an F-17, which is technically an F-16 with a little bit more feel. Really about it. Of course, this opinion is based on essentially zero data, as we haven't had a chance to pit our terrestrial technology against what I assume is a vast, highly advanced alien empire before. First time for everything, I suppose. In any case, we don't have anything better to throw at them, so the F-17 will have to do. To start with, we're going to arm them with a complement of Sidewinder missiles and an X-Division autocannon, one of which should be able to do some damage to the alien craft at the very least. Even if we ever develop something better. So I'd upgrade the armament on these planes as soon as you can, and we will. I'd also like to mention that these planes are about as heavily armed as other modern planes, which is not at all. If you wind up taking alien fire, and that's almost a certainty, and we will, our condors are going to fall from the sky like bugs in a bug zapper, and they will. Send them in groups if you hope to have a chance of surviving long enough to take down one of these small alien ships. Or I'll be saying I told you so often. Yes, base game, you could do a one-on-one with a condor and win against the light scout and even the fighter. Not this game, no. You have to have squadrons of 2. 3 if you can. And unfortunately, you only have a max squadron of 3. Otherwise, I'd send in squadrons of 4, which would make more sense to me. But I have found out ways around things. We have this AWACS, which we borrowed from France. And I could read through this, but I'm not going to ever use this damn thing. For the simple fact is, I know exactly where I'm placing bases to cover with radar, and I know how to hunt down the alien aircraft. That being said, I am also willing to test. So actually, let's read through it. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing a live stream. I'm doing a recording. Let's test this shit. You're probably wondering why I had an AWACS pulled into one of our valuable hangar bays, which they are very valuable. The answer is simple. Our radar coverage of the planet leaves a lot to be desired. Until we have a chance to put up more bases around the world and fix that situation, we're going to need a mobile radar platform to check for alien activity. And with an AWACS, we can get that job done. Now, I wish I could purchase another AWACS or build my own. That would be nice. Oh my god, I got lost already. They got incredible fuel economy, so we can schedule long patrols if we feel the need. But keep in mind that achieving amazing longevity by ditching every extra pound we could find. That includes all the weapons and defensive measures, Commander. This plane is a sitting duck if it gets caught by an alien ship. So keep it out of harm's way, or use some Condor escorts. Your call, sir. Once we've got worldwide radar coverage, we're going to need this plane a lot less useful. Or wait, coverage we need this plane. Radar coverage we need. There should be a comma there. This plane is going to be a lot less useful, so feel free to decommission it so we can fit something more practical into that hangar. Just be aware that we're not going to be able to get your hands on another one of these planes should you sell it too soon. We didn't buy this plane, we borrowed it, and France is going to be mighty unhappy if they find out we took it. Just keep it a little secret, Commander. Now, the F-17 here, it has a top speed of 1,800 kilometers an hour. That's fucking fast. That's really fast. And a range of 14,000 kilometers. Very, very far. Has a good acceleration of 40 kilometers an hour a second and 40 degrees turn rate of second. Only has a radar range of 10 kilometers though, or 1,000 kilometers, my bad. It's got a pitiful health pool of 200 and 2 hard points, the cannon and the normal. But it's cheap. It only cost me 50,000. The AWACS here cost me 150,000. Has 2 cannon hard points, one on the north, one on the south, or one on the left and right, I guess. Has twice the hit point though. Better radar range, about the same as the radar dish it seems, or a little bit less than a radar dish. But can't turn for shit. Horribly accelerated. Horribly slow, but has a very good range. Yeah. I mean, it also looks cool. I wish I could build my own or purchase them. Then I wouldn't have a problem with it. The Chinook. Basically, this it's called the CH-48 Charlie because you can't have F-16s as well because copyright and shit. Here's what we're going to be using to get our soldiers to the downed spacecraft, Commander. The CH-48 Charlie transport helicopter. It's got enough space to get 8 of our soldiers to the field with their equipment intact. And why is it only 8 when a Chinook can carry, what, 12, 16 people? Well, that's just because they filled the rest of the space with fuel. And we've armored it up so that it should survive the light enemy fire expected to receive while deploying. Remember, that's light enemy fire. If you wind up into an air-to-air combat situation, it's going to end badly for the Charlie and everyone unfortunate enough to be riding it at the time. We've equipped it with a few reserve parachutes just in case, but I don't need to remind you that jumping out of a falling, probably burning, helicopter into a set of still spinning rotors isn't going to be good for the soldier's morale or lifespan. Don't expect everyone to make it out. Also, while being extremely dependable, the CH-48, that one always tongue twisters me, is also extraordinarily slow compared to our interceptors. It's actually a lot faster than the base game helicopter. That thing is so fucking slow. It's a helicopter, not a rocket ship, so plan accordingly. Hopefully we'll have more robust transport platforms available in the near future, but for now, this is it. Keep it safe, Commander. And I have yet to figure that shit out, which one upgrades this. So I was like in the phase 2 of the invasion, like halfway through it, and I was still using this fucking helicopter to fly around. It worked, but God, I wish I had more men. Our aircraft cannon. The autocannon here. The X-Vision autocannon is a scaled-up version of the M61 Vulcan cannon. So it's probably, what, 25 millimeter? Maybe 27 millimeter, something out of the Russians there. The old American Air Force standby. And it's designed to give our dogfighting aircraft a chance at piercing the alien's armored hull, or the armored alien's hull at close range. We are currently unsure of its effectiveness, however, having been unable to test it against alien craft before the start of this invasion. Should the autocannon prove ineffective, perhaps our Sidewinder missiles will have an effect. And if not, there's always a possibility of using the plane itself as a weapon. Yeah, fine. As the Japanese proved with their Zeros in World War II. Sometimes you have to go down with the ship if you want the ship to go down. Best of luck explaining this suicide bombing strategy to the pilots. Commander, it should make for a lovely day. Yeah. So there's a cannon, as it says here. It does only 5 damage, which sounds like shit. And only a range of 1 kilometer, which is point blank range. But we don't have to lock it. It's just put the trigger on the pull. Has 100 rounds, which is good. So 5 times 100, you can do 500 points of damage. Actually not enough to take out a scout, so you have to hit the scout with missiles, which it is easily doable because a scout ship, not a light scout, a scout ship can't dodge. A light scout can. It also has a massive rate of fire of 300 rounds a minute. So, if I remember correctly, that should be a... Either I'm doing it weird, that's like 3, so... 3 rounds a second? So that should be, no, that should be like, I am screwing this up pretty bad. Fire the 100 rounds, do 300 rounds, that's a minute, my bad. I can probably count it easily in game, whatever. The arc of fire for this thing is 15 degrees, so you got a 15-degree cone to hit. I've never been the best at math. Our Sidewinder. This is the AIM-9 Sidewinder, probably an L variant, given the how this game runs and given the description it's giving us. Air-to-air missile, I feel, is the best chance of hitting an alien craft. It can use both infrared and a limited radar system to gain a lock. You can use the radar to sort of slowly secret look in the area. Now that navigation hardware doesn't leave a lot of room for explosives, though. So we'll have to see how effective it is at taking down enemy ships. Pretty good. It's pretty good. If it proves ineffective, perhaps our armor-piercing autocannons will do the trick. We'll just have to try and see, Commander. As a suggestion, you may want to send the planes out, equip this weapon in sorties of 2 to 3. If its missiles aren't enough to do the job, then perhaps a dozen or so will. And yes, they have twice the range of our, whatchamacallit, cannons. It has a lock time of 2 seconds, so it'll take 2 seconds to lock. We have 4 rounds per plane, if we equipped it with the Sidewinders. And the rate of fire, 30 rounds per minute, and a semi-firing arc of 30 degrees. It fires around every 2 seconds. Has a speed of 9,000 kilometers an hour, and the projectile can turn at 25 degrees. So technically, our Condors, once they dodge this thing, we're good. We don't have to worry about it trying. We don't have to worry about doing multiple dodges. X Division early weapons. Our basic pistol, which looks like an M9. Your basic run-of-the-mill ballistic pistol, Commander. Mass-produced and readily available. Things used to die when you pointed one of these at them, until those things stopped being people and started being aliens. Anyways, ow! I just flicked my fucking headphones and ow, it's loud in my ear. Fuck, that rings. Ah. Ugh. Give one of these things to your shield handler so they feel like they're part of the team, and don't try and dual them. That's just childish. So the pistol here can be used one-handed, where it says down here single-handed. It's light as hell, 2 kilograms. Well, we're not gonna be using shield handlers for a while, and when we get used to shield handlers with the armor that I'm looking forward to, we'll be getting much better weapons that can be used one-handed. Ammo capacity of 10, which is pretty good. Like, that's good. It has a range of 8 meters. Not bad. Not terrible, but not bad. Or not great, but not bad. Like, it'll do. It's fine. It's workable. Damage type, undefined, kinetic. Armor mitigation, undefined, 0. Damage, 25. Each round does 25 points of damage if there is no armor on the alien and everything works perfectly. Here we have the shotgun, which looks like a 870, a Mossberg 870. At least to me. The ballistic shotgun. This thing, they changed heavily from base game. A lot of things they changed heavily, like the pistol, a little slower. This thing, Jesus Christ, it has no fucking range. Fairly basic, sir. The ballistic shotgun fires a handful of heavy lead pellets in a general direction. Instead of the 3 from base game, I believe it shoots 8, which is pretty good. While dangerous to us, we aren't sure how effective these pellets will be against alien enemy armor, or hide, or whatever. Really effective. At least once you get through the armor. Once you get through the armor, it takes like 1, maybe 2 to put the damn things down. Regardless, shotguns work best when used up close, so you have to get your soldiers in there, Commander. Look, you can. I see. Like how it says like 3 meters, but you can use a shotgun. Like, fucking, you can use buckshot at a range of about 70. You can use buckshot at 75 feet. 50 to 75 feet. You can use buckshot. Might hit 1, but you can use it, and it'll be fine. 25 feet is, 25 feet before you really want to use it, because that's where everything's going to be nice and tight. 50 feet, it's going to be spread out quite a bit, but it is still very much usable with decent accuracy. It can be noted that expanding pellets of shotgun causes a shock effect when a target is injured, resulting in the victim having to use a number of time units, which is what we use, to recover at the beginning of the turn. It's sort of like a mix between suppression and stunning. Like they have less time when you get hit by a fucking shotgun, which I don't blame you. If I got shot with a shotgun and somehow survived, it would give you have to give me a couple minutes to recover. The damage is 46 if all pellets hit, which is pretty fucking good. That's enough to kill almost anything. Armor mitigation, I think it's 3. Damage type, kinetic. Range of only 3, but it has a nice, very nice ammo capacity of 8 rounds in the tube. Now, our basic Mossbergs at my place have 4, and then you have an extension which you can add 6 into the tube. Then you can put 1 for a speed load for a total of 6 in 2 plus 1 in the what's it called? Chamber. I guess 1 in the feeding area too, so you could technically do that. But I'm just going to assume that this has a 7 stack tube there and 1 in the chamber that you can put in. It's nice. It's good enough. Recoil undefined. I don't know exactly what the recoil is on this one. Requires 2 hands. Obviously, it's a fucking shotgun and it weighs 4 kilograms, so twice as heavy as a pistol, but lighter than everything else on here, which is interesting. The ballistic rifle. I love this thing. I'm not gonna lie. This thing has impressed me. It's way worse than the base game, but this has done pretty good. Here we are, sir. The ballistic rifle. It's an M16. That is an M16. Moderate range, moderate stopping power, moderate accuracy. This weapon is exceptional and only being average, and you know what? That's fine. This thing works great. Except for one thing about this, and you can probably see it in the ammo capacity. It can fire in a 3-shot burst, which is lovely, and I almost use that all the time. I pretty much use that for everything just because it's a mixture between the low snapshot and the normal with 3 chances. It works great. Should your soldier have enough time to line it up. But that's about it. If your soldier has more enthusiasm and actually use these. Yeah, this thing, damage 25, so same as the pistol, but a little bit longer range. Actually 11 meters, so that's a lot longer range. And the ammo capacity is only 18. That is bad. Why you only fit 18 rounds in here? Pardon me. I don't know. Picture looks like it's either a 20 or 30 round magazine. Probably could be a 20 round magazine. Which if I had 20, I'd be happy. Now if I had 30 rounds magazine, I'd be over the moon. But I digress. It is of course 2 hands, recoil, and determined. Armor mitigation, I think this one is 3. Damage type, kinetic. Weighs 5 kilograms. Pretty heavy. The precision rifle. This thing is fun. This one looks like the PRG. The PRG-1. If you need to reach out and touch something at a distance, this will be your tool of choice. Longer range than the rifle, and harder hitting. Very much so. 60. This will 1 or 2 tap aliens. This precision rifle can make the most of your soldiers' accuracy, if they have any anyways. No burst option on this gun, unfortunately, so you better make those precious shots count. And yes, this thing has a lot of accuracy to use. You use a lot of your time units, and I'll explain more once I get into the soldiers' the equipment loadout, because there's more information there, more in-depth stats of these things. Armor mitigation, I believe it's 5, maybe 10. Like, it's pretty high. Damage, kinetic. Range, a lovely 20 meters. Like, this thing can shoot far. Ammo capacity, only 6 fucking shots. What kind of bullets are we using for 6 shots in a magazine that is that large? It's obviously 7.62, I'll tell you that much. Maybe. Maybe you can put a 30-08 in there. Or the, what's the really big fucking round that they use? I can't remember. 2 hands and weighs 7 kilograms. Pretty fucking heavy. But you want to see heavy? This fucking thing. The heavy machine gun. If it's defined as a spray and pray, that is true. However, I've seen it done some accuracy, like surprising. And that's what you should expect when you use it. Though it isn't easy to use with some of the other weapons, firstly, the heavy machine gun is exactly what it says. Heavy. You better have a rather brawny soldier carry this thing, or they won't be able to hold it still while firing. Second, it takes a few minutes to set up the weapon prior to firing. Extend the legs, insert the clip, bracing the weapon, which means there's no time to be running around. If you move a soldier prior to firing a heavy weapon like this, expect your accuracy to drop significantly. You've been warned. Yeah, so the precision rifle, the heavy machine gun are what is classified our heavy weapons, and this thing has a little bit more range than the rifle. If you move, you get a penalty to your accuracy, but it can do a total of 138 damage. Because fuck you and your health bar. The rocket launcher, it's a tube. It has the most range of 320 meters. Good fucking luck hitting anything at that long range. It says damage is 0. That's because this thing itself can't be used, unless you want to beat the shit out of an alien with it when they get close. But not recommended. It's the damage comes from the rocket, which is the ammo capacity of 1. It's actually lighter than the precision rifle, which is I find funny. Rocket launcher itself is a simple tube with a basic arming apparatus and a trigger system. Looks like a small, if you ask me. And the heavy machine gun looks like an FNG from France. The rockets themselves are interesting. So long as they adhere to the specification for rocket ammunition, we be able to fire them with this system. Who knows what amazing rockets will develop with backward alien technology. We get some pretty cool fucking rockets. Speaking of alien technology, you should be aware that the explosions tend to not leave intact hardware behind, so hoping to recover any of the alien goodies if you may want to steer clear of. If you're hoping to steer clear of ammunition. Yeah, no. We're going to be using explosives a lot. C4. Everyone's favorite danger putty, serious putty. C4 is such a stable explosive that won't go off if you drop it or if you light it on fire. But you do have to use an electric current. Exactly why I chose to give us those cretins in the barracks for the use on the mission. Now, as I mentioned, I should mention that we have no idea how effective it's going to be as a weapon, seeing if we know a little about the alien's ability to withstand explosive shockwaves. Spoiler alert! Not very well. So you're going to need to lob a few their way to report back. And I do mean lob. And yes, you can throw the C4, which is fucking awesome. You just set the timer and throw it. They aren't going to be anywhere near this exploding C4, I assure you. We may not know the alien's resistance, but we sure know what human resistance to explosive is. None. No resistance whatsoever. If one of them manages to arm C4 and then not throw it, or don't throw it far enough, boom, dead team. Be very careful, you need to toss on these at the back of your transport. And yes, you have a timer between 1 and 9. I don't know why you'd ever use 9 turns, but hey. It's, use the second you press 1. If you press 1, that means in 1 turn, the second you end turn, that thing is exploding. Yes. Theoretically, you can do suicide bombers. It works. Don't ask me how I know. Figure it out. But no, I mainly use C4 to create alternate pathways or to really fuck with the aliens. Plus, you can kind of use it like a shape charge, although most explosives use like a shape charge, and I'll explain more. Or you'll see. I probably won't explain more. I'll probably forget, but you'll see it when I use it. And here we have one of the main lore of the game, the Iceland incident. This is why the United States and the Soviet Union give us the most amount of money. The 1957 Iceland incident was our first contact with extraterrestrial life. An alien aircraft entered our atmosphere above the Atlantic in what we now believe was a scouting mission. It was detected and intercepted by NATO jets operating under the assumption it was an experimental Soviet aircraft. Visual sightings of the UFO rapidly dispelled that myth, and the craft was far larger than the radar signature suggested. More akin to an airborne warship than an aircraft. Attempts to communicate elected a barrage of energy weapon fire that disintegrated half the squadron and left the remaining jets limping back to base with several damage. Several subsequent attempts were made by NATO fighter squadrons to intercept the alien vessel, costing them a number of aircraft, but inflicting no appreciable damage on the target. And this is 58. I believe they were either Sabres or F-100s going at it. Yeah. I don't think the A4 were invented. I don't know. When the UFO abruptly changed course and began heading toward the eastern coast of the United States, a decision was made to deploy nuclear weapons. Now, I don't think we had ICBMs at this time. I could be wrong. 20 minutes later, half a dozen nuclear-tipped ICBMs ignited the sky above an uninhabited part of Iceland. Astonishingly, the UFO survived the blast, but it crash-landed, almost intact, shortly afterwards. At this point, NATO forces made a decision to inform their Soviet counterparts about the alien vessel and seek their assistance in securing the vessel and the technology within. This decision was seemingly motivated by more self-preservation rather than altruism. Soviets were furious at large unexplained nuclear detonations and were apparently close to launching missiles of their own. A joint ground operation was launched to capture the alien craft, but numerous extraterrestrials have survived crash and put up stiff resistance. Human forces took significant losses during the operations, but slowly secured the area around the craft. What happens next is uncertain. All we know is that the alien craft was destroyed in an enormous explosion, almost certainly caused by the craft's power source. This explosion annihilated the UFO itself and wiped out all ground forces within a 10-mile radius. The only survivors were those at the distant command post. There was nothing left, the UFO was gone, and only a handful of those who had sighted an extraterrestrial were left alive. The aftermath of the incident involved a large-scale cover-up. The official explanation was that of a Soviet invasion of Iceland thwarted by nuclear weapons, with heavy losses on both sides. But behind closed doors, the two superpowers were collaborating. A joint Black Ops organization was formed, drawing from resources of both. Unofficially dubbed the Xenonauts, it was tasked with defending the planet against alien invasion. The absence of obvious alien threat has made us look rather irrelevant in the past 20 years, Commander, but we had little doubt we would need it someday. It seems that day has come. The world is fucked. Our lovely little armor. We have base structures. I'm not going to go through this because they're kind of self-fucking-explanatory. Basic armor is standard issue equipment for our strike teams. It does not offer much in the way of protection, but does not encumber the wearer in any way nor reduce his situational awareness. It has been designed primarily for function, providing the soldier's protection from the elements and carrying enough space to hold all of his equipment. The only conscience to the protective equipment is the steel helmet, which offers measured protection against shrapnel and other flying debris. We know little about extraterrestrial weapons at this point in time, so there is, shall we say, a little point in slowing down our men with protective equipment they may well have no effect at all. It's not true. Honestly, Kevlar vests would actually be very useful right now. Few men have remarked on the visibility of the fetching blue used too. It is highly unlikely that aliens see the same visual spectrum as we do, so camouflage is likely a wasted effort. Which is true. Some of them have thermal vision. Ain't that fun. But our men know exactly where our comrades are at all times. We should be able to design protective equipment tailored to defend against alien weapons once we capture and study a few examples. In the meantime, instruct your men to watch their step and follow your tactical instructions to the letter. And now this is something new provided by X Division. This armor provides a 20% bonus to reflexes and armor bonuses. Sight range is 18 with a view cone of 160 degrees. Nice, and here's the statistics 0, 0, 0, and 10 for kinetic because of the steel helmet. And that's it. It's also 5 kilograms. And that's it for my long reading. We're going to have a lot of reading this game. This is Tootles, and thank you for joining me on Let's Play of Xenonauts. Stay safe, and as always, have an awesome day.